We're all set. Everything is good, up and running. Our second evening of this week. We're super excited. But good evening, everyone. This is Carol Sue, aka Naughty Boss, live in the dark with two
Sistas. Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. We are so used to saying good morning, but it is actually evening where we are on the Eastern Seaboard. It's obviously very dark here. Lighting is a little off. I'm gonna have to purchase one of those ring lights one of these days for these night timers. But, you know, trending Thursday, and it just may be another hot topic kind of evening. Yo, San Francisco, I just heard you lost some board members.
I love it. Yeah. And, you know, it's happening all over the place. And what, you know, as I've been sharing all along with what I've been dealing with in Massachusetts. So a few articles have come out. There's been a lot of kibitzing on social media. I'm pretty postured in my position, so I don't bend. I don't play ball with anyone. And one of the candidates that is running, a candidate I do not know, he's not part of our group. Right now, I'm not sure about his platform because he's really not convincing on what he's talking about. He's using a mantra from Reader's Digest, where, you know, he admits that, you know, the thought process came from that. I'd like to see a candidate is postured, has a definite platform, and is pretty confident in what they want to accomplish. So, you know, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I haven't heard, you know, a lot of him, someone that I don't know. But what I found interesting was most people realize that, you know, I'm a full-time resident in Florida now, but I was a resident in this community for almost 30 years, but I'm actually a part-time resident. So meaning that I'm back and forth like a yo-yo, put it that way. So I do live here part-time, but I'm a registered voter, and it's pretty much public knowledge anyways. But this particular person on his news thread, because I was, you know, asking him different things about, you know, his views on the current school committee, you're running for the school committee. And he wasn't postured enough to say, you know, for him, it's not about them versus us, or him taking a seat. And I told him, you know, basic politics 101, if you are running for a seat and you're going against an incumbent, guess what? You're going after that person's seat. You can't twist it, turn it, deflect it any other way. And he could not. I think he's a little nervous about coming out and being confident and postured in his beliefs, because goes back and forth, whatever. But again, he just announced his candidacy. So I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. We also do know of four other candidates that are going to be running within the district, which consists of two different towns. But anyways, going back to the article, so there's been a lot of publicity about what we're doing. Great, lots of support, but there are those that really do not know the history, do not know what we've accomplished, what we've yet to accomplish, and what we've dug up between the administration and the school committee. So they're just assuming, oh, there's just a few parents that are going after the school board, and now they want to recall them. And there's an election coming up in May. They're not realizing that this process really began 9 months ago. And the actual affidavits, which are a legal document, were submitted to either town based on the information that they initially gave us of the recall process. But I think part of the issue was they didn't know that we were actually going to go forward with it. So when they immediately rejected, we were really like, you know, did we do something wrong? You know, do we not follow the rules properly? And they gave us the opinion of what their either town's attorney or special counsel told them, which was that school committee members are not elected officials, and that the school committee is a separate entity because it's a regional district. So I thought, so they have like their own, you know, there's another process. So at that point, you know, we collectively as a group made the decision We would get an attorney, seek legal counsel to review these letters and to review whether we did have a case to go forward. Were we not understanding the law correctly? Push comes to shove, our attorney refuted what they said. But in addition to that, he requested public records, which substantiated that the either town officials were conspiring to derail our recall process. Now, obviously, we didn't know that, but there was an actual conspiracy to block our efforts. So, my point being, at this point, wouldn't residents be upset knowing that either town conspired against the residents? Which was a good question. So anyways, long story short, it's been publicized a lot this week. So this particular person, who I do not know, responded or asked a question underneath a post, tagged me in it and said, can you please tell me your residence and are you a registered voter? Now, this is someone I do not know. I looked up this person's profile. Their profile picture is Nancy Pelosi. There's no information on this person. You have no indication of where this person's from. There are no friends listed, that is not unusual because a lot of people will block you from seeing who their friends are. There's no real post. I think there's a post from maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But there's no indication where this person's from. So I thought it ironic and kind of comical. You want me to give out my personal information, which again is pretty much public record anyways, if you bother to, follow what I'm doing. But you want to personally have me declare that information on your post of someone that I don't know, and yet I don't even know who you are, and you got Nancy Pelosi as your profile picture. So then that was her message yesterday, or I don't know whether it's a she, he, or whatever, because obviously she's not Nancy Pelosi or he. So then she follows it up, and the person follows up again and said, did you not see my question? Like, you can't bait me. So I just thought it was comical. You want my information and you want me to answer to someone that not only do I not know, you have no history on Facebook from what I can see. You don't have a real picture up because you got Nancy Pelosi as your profile picture. And you're going to bug me or harass me for my information. I don't think so. So that's what's kind of trending. So what's going on is that I've made a couple statements, really kind of detailing the last 9 months, because a lot of people, what they do is they give their opinions as if they were facts. So I had another gentleman who says I'm a GOP, I'm trying to think how we word it, operative or something to that extent, because of the event that the two parents groups, which was Millbury, and then of course the Dudley Charlton Regional School District, we hosted an event for candidates that were going to be running for the school committee. And in addition, some Massachusetts state people that are running for their own positions, like the Mr. Deal, who's running for the governor of Massachusetts, Senator Fatman, Jeffrey Paquette Sousa, who's running for representative, I think it's District 2. Many that are campaigning actually got, contacted us. They knew that this particular area of Massachusetts is dealing with, just like across the country, not really showing what's going on with curriculum, inserting CRT, as well as SEL, which is social emotional learning. Some districts are dealing with comprehensive sex education. So they knew that these were really important issues that we were going to be discussing, along with mandates, obviously, and the need for choice. So they asked to be guest speakers. Now, obviously, I was an event producer. I'm a public speaker. We have a podcast, so I'm very comfortable with a mic. A lot of these parents don't want to be behind a microphone. So it would be a natural avenue for me to be the moderator and or MC the event, which I did. So this person said, I don't think this group really cares about the children. Basically, I'm a GOP operative because I hosted an event for all the state officials. Now that was his opinion, but he stated it as if it was fact. I was dealing with that. The other key piece was that I was the leader of this group. So I, again, because we believe in transparency and really kind of detailing what we've done. I said, no, I happen to be the one that people interview, but there's over 360 people in this group. There's over 100 families involved. There's businesses, there's grandparents. So while I may be the one that's being interviewed, I am not the leader. I'm not even the administrator of this page. So again, I have to, so I said, I'm not going to answer all these people individually. I just kind of made a very factual statement of what transpired over the last month. We had even one person said, before you go about trying to recall people, why don't you try going to some school committee meetings? And obviously I laughed. I'm thinking to myself, do you know how many times I've flown back and forth going to school committee meetings, or how many FOIA requests I've requested, or how many emails I've emailed administration? Again, you're assuming something, not knowing anything about what you're talking about. So I find it very comical. And that's pretty much what has been trending on social media really over the last couple of years, is that people have an opinion, whether it's politics. And that was the other key piece, that we were politically driven. Again, doesn't know the group. It consists of Democrats, independents, Republicans. The other thing they want to know is how many were registered voters. We don't ask people if you're a registered voter or not. You're there. The common goal is because we heard in June by the school committee that was trying to insert CRT that they want to change the hearts and minds of children. And a mother's response to that was, what is wrong with my child so bad that you want to change my child's heart and mind? And that was one of the most powerful lines I heard, in what drew me into really advocating. I have always advocated for children. I've been a CCDC teacher. I fought other different rights for children. So it was, again, a natural recourse for me to get involved, because I'm a stakeholder. My grandchildren are in part of this district. Their parents fell in love, met through the school district. So of course I've got a stake. I have a stake in the game. I'm also could be considered the agent, because obviously I've been dealing with the town and with the attorney and all of that. Does not matter. But the problem with social media and what's been trending is people use their opinion to either try to convince someone of something. They talk about CRT and racism, yet they use racist really type of actions against other people by being keyboard bullies, name calling. And again, they're trying to convince whoever their viewers are that they know the facts, but what they're spewing is not facts, it's opinion. And if you're gonna, I'm to the point now, I'm very limited on who I will respond to. But because, I'm responding for the group as a whole, I want to make sure I'm giving factual and that we are completely transparent, because that's one of our biggest arguments with the school committee and the administration, is they have not been transparent. We want to make sure we are doing that. So no holds bars. I explained it. The other key piece that's been trending is that people really don't understand what CRT is. Everyone says CRT is not being taught in the district. I said, you're actually right, because it's not something you teach per se. It's not a course. It's not a lesson. It's an ideology. And the ideology is based on that you, as a white person, you are inherently racist. Now, can you imagine telling that to a young child? Oh, guess what? Did you know because of your skin color, you're automatically a racist. So you're teaching about racism with being racist. So the whole premise behind CRT is that if you're white, you are inherently racist and you are an oppressor. And if you are not white, you are the oppressed. So now you're telling a pecan child, a black child, a brown child, a yellow child, whatever color you want to come up with, that, oh, by the way, you're oppressed. You're not going to amount to anything because of the color of your skin. And what we've been fighting for is what Martin Luther King commented about, that you judge someone by the character, not the color of their skin. You don't even look at that. Most children, that's the least of their concern of what is the color of your skin. They just want to be your friend. They want to get to know you. Oh, you look so pretty. You're going to come to my birthday party. Oh, you play soccer? Gee, let's play after school. Racism doesn't even enter. And the problem with people talking about racism, we have to demolish it. Well, yeah, of course, that would be lovely. But the bottom line is, you can't get rid of evil, just like you can't get rid of good. You can't get rid of night, just like you can't get rid of day. You cannot ever get rid of liars versus somebody that's truthful. It's humanity, it's human, it's because we are perfectly and flawed. So while, yes, it would be lovely to get rid of racism, the way you combat racism is to treat people with kindness, live by the golden rule. And that's what's faltering in the educational system today. That's the real pandemic, not the stupid virus and mass. The real pandemic is the indoctrination of children, trying to convince them and letting them know that they're racist and they were born that way. And that is a travesty. And we shouldn't be doing that. And so you get all these people that are, tooting on the horn of CRT. And, they are not teaching it. No, they're not. It's not a course. It's not a lesson. It's an ideology and a thought process that is inserted in the way someone teaches. They use their bias. It could be like you walk into a classroom and you may see a lot of like Black Lives Matter, any kind of activist type posters on the board. They may insert it with, like in math, they could give you like a problem solving of a Black boy versus a white boy. Then they insert, well, you know who the police are going to go after. They're going to go after the Black boy because, they're racist. I mean, there's ways of inserting this shit crap stuff. And parents, they weren't counting on the most powerful group in the world today is parents, grandparents, people fighting for children's rights. You could talk political ideologies all day long, but you start screwing around with their kids. And the sad thing about all of this that's trending is there's too much complacency with grandparents, with maybe parents that their children are currently not in the school. Maybe they've already graduated. Oh, it's not my problem. Well, guess what? It's everyone's problem. Because if, in this particular district, and a lot of people don't realize, they are up 500% of parents that have pulled their children out of the school system, out of the district, and are homeschooling. Now, if you got a great school system and there's nothing wrong with the curriculum and nothing wrong with being taught, or nothing, none of these ideologies are grooming or sexualizing children, or, very explicit graphic books in the library, you would not have parents pulling out their kids. But what happens with that is the economical piece to it. I can say that verbatim because with my husband's job, as we relocated. We actually relocated to this district not once, but twice because of the great school system. If you don't have a good school system, guess what happens? You're going to get a poor rating. Other people are not going to have any desirable reason to move to these towns because the school system's not good. That's also going to impact businesses with their growth. It's going to impact churches and the bottom line of any fiscal line items from any town. So it is everyone's problem. So the people that, let somebody else deal with it. I don't got kids in school. Let the younger generation handle it. It's everyone's problem. Everyone's problem.
Amen to that, because, there's so much going on in the world today, and our children are our future, and I don't know what else to say about this, and it's just heartbreaking, but I'm glad that you stood your ground. And while we realize that everybody has a right to their opinion, if your opinion is not fact-based, now, if that person really wanted to know that information, they could have found it.
Of course I could have. it's actually on social media, and because other people have asked me, people that I do know, and say, geez, I thought you lived in Florida. I said, well, I do. I moved there 2 years ago. And I'm a registered voter in Florida. But I live here part-time, obviously, because our grandchildren are here. So I fly back. Matter of fact, since COVID, and I've always talked about that since the virus hit, actually before the virus hit, I was flying in all through the virus. I flew back and forth, I don't know, 60 times. And when I count that, I'm counting, obviously going from point A to point B, that's one flight, because it is. Going back is another flight. So I've been back and forth multiple times to visit, to be involved with the school committees, to be there in person, to ask questions, to organize events, because I want to be able to look at my grandchildren's face and say, yes, I fought for you, but I'm not just fighting for you. I'm fighting for all the children, for choice, to not wear masks. Now, supposedly the masks are coming off. Thankfully, they already came off in Connecticut. They're not supposed to come off here until February 28th, but I wouldn't even hold my breath on that, because the state is already backtracking. The governor, Faker Baker, is already backtracking that, or I should say it's Commissioner Riley with Faker Baker's blessing, that they're really recommending that if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. But if you are not vaccinated, you should mask up. So, they're putting those little innuendos in there. Now, ironically, tomorrow is the last day of the school week, and next week they're on vacation. So my thing is, the numbers have been coming down like this. Omicron is basically kaput, gone. But if they even notice the slightest bit of a tick going up, they'll probably, we got to go back to masks. So I don't trust it until I actually see it.
Yeah, and that could lead into so many different things. Are you going to start weighing people before they go into McDonald's or Starbucks? I mean, it's just getting so darn ridiculous, and I could go off on a tangent here, but I'm just going to leave it at that. What else is trending? Well, let's see. My muscles are quite sore. I kind of change my routine around, and my body goes through this process of, and thankfully it is not a scorching burner. My whole body hurts, because I've had those types of body aches. This is, my muscles are sore, and I just got to move a little gingerly here and there. But
not your ass muscles, your glutes.
they are on fire. They're on fire. And that's the good thing about it. Like my arms feel stronger. Like I feel like a boss. I don't know how to describe it. But that's a good thing, because that tells me that what I am doing is paying off. It is hard work. It is, it can be challenging, but you should have seen me doing my weight training today. It was quite impressive, I will add.
Well, that's awesome. What's also trending is, how do you travel and work out? Obviously, I took all my bands with me, my stretch bands. So even if I'm just, relaxing or whatever, I'm trying to, make sure that I'm getting some sort of movement. And I did quite a few push-ups today on the counter. And then obviously with doing that same motion with the stretch bands. So my shoulders are I feel it in my shoulders. Tomorrow I'm working on a lot of squats. So I'm expecting my ass to kill.
Yeah, and I'm traveling
ass burn.
And I'm bringing my my exercise mat, and I'll bring my stretchy bands and my 5-pounders, because I'm staying at an Airbnb that's about 7 minutes from Ryan, but it's up on the 3rd floor. So I'm like, I got to be really careful because I want to pack very light. So
yeah, and that's what I love about the stretch bands. They do pack light, And depending on, you can get different widths, different, the way it stretches, more resistance. And they really make, they're really talking, what's been trending is really when you kind of enter into that 50 age group and above, that more repetition, excuse me, more repetition, more repetitious movements with bands versus weights, to really kind of protect your muscles from injury. So, and it's a great way to travel. So you have no excuses to not do something, whether it's walking, whether it's, if you're in a hotel and it's carpeted, put a towel down and start working, doing those, abs, some squats, because you don't need to do, you don't have to have a rack or anything to do squats. You can stand and do those squats up and down. And you can also use your stretch bands around your thighs. And you want to make sure that obviously you're spreading your legs probably about the width of your shoulders, maybe a tad wider, to really get that push with the stretch band. But they travel great, and they keep you accountable. You take them out of your suitcase, do not leave them in your suitcase, and put them where you could see them, where they're visible. As a reminder, say, you know what, just because I'm on vacation doesn't mean I've got 15, 20 minutes that I can't get some sort of workout, excuse me, some sort of workout in.
And the other thing I'm excited about is this looks like a really nice place, which I'm really excited about. Has this amazing bathroom with this beautiful soaking bathtub.
Ooh.
So Sunday night and Monday night, I'll be soaking it up. No husband, no dog, quietness.
Well, it's a rejuvenation for you, for the mind, body, and spirit. Gives you time to focus on Ryan, gives you time to, focus on yourself. And, I always say that somehow we've got to kind of try to fit that in our schedule. Obviously, if you can get away for a night or two and there's a cause or there's, an event or something that you're tying in with that, that's great. But make sure that you really, just relax and really kind of rejuvenate yourself into the point where you can start anew, you can start fresh. Relaxation music is awesome. Like you said, a nice warm bubble bath and just, soaking and, maybe a glass of wine and just really just kind of chill. Of course, you're not a big wine drinker, but whatever. What I've been drinking is a lot of different herb teas. And I try to make sure that I'm using wherever I am, the local honey, because honey, it's one of those, it's like garlic. It's just one of those natural food items that really, the beneficial pieces to your body, it's just amazing.
Yeah. And I just can't wait to give my son a hug. So that's what's trending for me. And, yesterday, and I just want to go back to the weather for a moment. It just goes to show you that with the weather, like when it's cold up here in the Northeast, our muscles tend to constrict a little bit more. And today, of course, you feel kind of that release because it's a lot warmer. Yes. And I went outside, just with my sweater on, and I was very comfortable. And there's a monster. Stay over there. And, so that's what's trending. It's so weird. You go from 16 degrees to, what was it, 55? I mean, that's like
around here, I believe it got up to 57, 58, and still a little bit chilly, but much better than, what I was feeling the first 2 days. I just couldn't get that chill out of my body. So I was glad that, upper 50s is definitely doable. And even in the cold weather, believe it or not, I've never been a jacket person. It's constricting. I hate wearing it in the car. So when I arrived, I just had my sweatshirt and my light sweatshirt at that. And, my son-in-law said, "Oh, I brought a coat for you." I said, "Nah." He said, "It's cold out." I said, "I know it's cold out, but I've never been, even when I lived in New England full time, I was not a jacket person unless, like if I was walking, in Boston, walking outside, and I knew I was going to be outside, more than 30 minutes, then I would put one on. But generally speaking, I really don't like to wear one.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that myself. Obviously with traveling in the car on Sunday, I'll be in the car for like 4 hours. So,
Right.
when I'm on a long trip, I can't wear
Yeah, it's too
I'll
confining.
wear something like this, a sweater, and
Yeah.
I'll be fine. But on that note, TwoSistas Trending Thursday, bedtime stories, we all have them. I think I will be watching probably an episode of Perry Mason. And we also are planning on watching Judge Janine's Fox Nation thing on somebody's son, and I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, have you started watching that?
Yeah, I watched the first episode, so
yeah, I'm curious to get your take on that. I have not been watching any news. The kids are watching, some sort of movie. I don't know if it's Harry Potter or something or other they're watching. And generally speaking, I just, at nighttime, I just been cramming, getting some work done. I had to finish up a certificate program, which I did. So now I'm officially, I can, in the state of Florida, to be on a HOA, you have to go through a certificate program. So I finished that up. So I was grateful to get that out of the way. Always busy doing something, planning something, stuff with TwoSistas, writing, journaling. And so I've been a little bit too busy although I have been watching, what the heck is it called? Manifest. And I watched it when it first came on the air years ago, but apparently I must have skipped out some seasons or something, because they're like, I don't remember this. I don't remember this. So I'm now on season 2. I haven't watched it in about 4 or 5 days, but I'll catch up with that at some point. So that's really kind of only I've been watching. And then of course I've been reading, because I love to do that as well. And just, God is good. We're blessed. I always say to people, what's trending? Your health. That's what's trending. If you are able to wake up, take in a nice breath of fresh air, make your bed, walk outside, hug those you love, you are blessed. And we shouldn't take those things. So I think blessings should be trending as well. And just knowing that, we have a miracle every day when we wake up. We have a blank sheet of paper, and our journey is not written for that day. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, we hope you enjoyed this evening's hot topics, and we would love to hear from you. Go to our website and leave us a voicemail at www.twosistas.online, because we like to be different. And on that note, my name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva, and I'm with TwoSistas,
and this is Carol, so aka Naughty Boss, feeling a little warmer today, which is good stuff. What we always say about Trending Thursday is, you're checking out all the different influencers. Why don't you be the influencer? You be the trendsetter, and pay it forward. Be kind to people. Always be kind to people. If they got a good character, if they've got a great sense of humor, and you are blessed to have them in your life, let them know that. It makes everyone feel good when you give them a compliment, even if it's something simple. It makes people feel good. So that's what should be trend setting. But we will see you tomorrow morning for a fantabulous Friday. We're super excited for that. We will close out our week, and we wish you all a great Thursday night. See you in the AM.
Good night, everyone.